The great hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with quiet conversation. Representatives from dozens of alien species sat in their special seats, each designed for their unique body types. The crystal beings from sparkled like living diamonds. The insect-like creatures from clicked their mandibles as they spoke. The water-breathing aliens from Oceanus Prime floated in their transparent tanks filled with blue liquid. Today felt different, though. An emergency session had been called by a species that rarely appeared at council meetings. They were ancient, older than most civilizations in the galaxy. They had watched empires rise and fall for millions of years. When they asked to speak, everyone listened. Ambassador Or stepped forward. His people looked almost human, but their skin was pale blue and their eyes held the weight of countless centuries. He had lived for over 3,000 years, and today his face showed worry that made even the most experienced diplomats feel uneasy. Honored council members, Or began, his voice carrying through the translation devices that let all species understand each other. I come before you today with an urgent warning. It concerns the species you call humans, from the planet Earth in the Sol system. Several council members shifted in their seats. The humans were new to space travel. They had only discovered faster-than-light flight 50 years ago. Most aliens saw them as primitive creatures who barely deserved attention. I must warn you, Or continued, do not attack these humans. Do not threaten their home planet. If you do, they will unleash something that even we fear. They will release their predators. The council hall erupted into confused chatter. Chancellor of the Hegemony made a sound like breaking glass, which was how her species laughed. Her crystal body sparkled brighter as she spoke. Ancient One, surely you must be joking. These humans are barely beyond stone tools and fire sticks. They use chemical rockets and metal bullets. Their entire military could not defeat a single patrol ship from any of our fleets. What possible threat could they pose to civilizations that can move stars and create black holes? Other council members nodded in agreement. The humans had no quantum weapons, no reality-bending technology, no planet-killing devices. They were like children playing with sticks while adults wielded swords. Or's ancient eyes grew darker. You misunderstand the nature of true danger, Chancellor. You think only of weapons made from metal and energy. But the humans possess something far more terrifying. They have formed bonds with the apex predators of their world, not just temporary alliances or simple training relationships. They have spent millions of years breeding these creatures, creating new varieties designed specifically for hunting, fighting, and killing. The insect ambassador from Commander L buzzed his wings in what his species considered laughter. So they have tamed some animals. Many species keep pets or use beasts for labor. This is hardly unusual. No, Or said, his voice dropping to barely above a whisper. You do not understand. They do not simply use these predators as tools or slaves. The humans have created a bond deeper than anything we have seen in galactic civilization. They call these deadly creatures their family. They refer to apex predators capable of killing large prey as good boys, and treat them with the same love they show their own offspring. Silence fell over the council hall. The concept was so alien to most species that their translation devices struggled to find proper words. The idea of voluntarily living with predators was beyond their understanding. Most civilizations had either destroyed all dangerous species on their planets or been destroyed by them. Furthermore, Or continued, our long-range observations have shown that these predators share the human's emotional attachment. They do not serve out of fear or training alone. They fight with joy when protecting their human companions. They consider the death of their human partners to be worse than their own death. They have somehow convinced apex predators to love them. The water-dwelling ambassador from Oceanus Prime, her voice bubbling through her tank's communication system, spoke up. This makes no sense. Predators are driven by hunger and territorial instincts. They cannot form genuine emotional bonds with prey species. That is what makes humans unique, or replied. They have achieved something that should be impossible. They have turned love itself into a weapon of war. When threatened, humans do not just fight for territory or resources. They fight to protect their predator families, and their predators fight to protect them. This creates a level of motivation and ferocity that cannot be matched by any army fighting for conquest or duty. Chancellor's crystal form dimmed as she considered this. Even if what you say is true, Ancient One, they are still technologically inferior. Their weapons are primitive. Their ships are slow. How could they threaten advanced civilizations? Or pulled up a holographic display showing Earth. The planet appeared green and blue, covered with water and forests. Because you still think like civilized beings. You imagine warfare fought with rules and logic. These humans have spent their entire evolutionary history learning to fight alongside creatures that know only one rule: protect the pack at any cost. They do not fight to win territory. They fight to protect what they love. And there is no force in the universe more dangerous than love combined with predatory instincts. The council chamber filled with uncomfortable murmurs. Some representatives looked skeptical, others worried. The concept was too strange for many to accept. I have been watching human civilization for 2,000 of their years, or said. I have seen them survive ice ages, plagues, wars, and disasters that would have destroyed most species. Through it all, they kept their predator companions at their side. They shared their food during famines, their shelter during storms, their fires during cold nights. And in return, these predators have become more devoted to humans than humans are to themselves. Admiral of the Void Runners, a militaristic species known for their tactical brilliance, leaned forward. What exactly are you suggesting we should fear? Are these predators larger than our war machines? Do they possess unknown weapons? They possess something far more dangerous, or answered. They possess loyalty that transcends death. When you attack a human, you are not just fighting one individual. You are fighting every predator that considers that human to be family. And these creatures have been bred for thousands of generations to be faster, stronger, and more vicious than their wild ancestors. The ancient ambassador took one last look around the council chamber. He could see doubt and dismissal on most faces. These civilized species had forgotten what it meant to face a truly wild threat. Remember my words, or said as he prepared to leave. Do not attack the humans. Do not threaten their world. If you do, you will learn what we learned long ago. There is nothing more terrifying than a species that has made apex predators into beloved family members. The humans call them dogs, and they are the most dangerous force in the galaxy. With that warning, the ancient ambassador departed, leaving behind a council that would soon learn the cost of ignoring wisdom. 6 months passed after the warning, and the Galactic Council had almost forgotten about the ancient ambassador's strange words. Life continued as normal in the great civilizations. Trade routes hummed with activity, diplomatic meetings settled minor disputes, and expansion surveys mapped new territories. The hive clusters, always eager to find new resources for their ever-growing population, sent a survey fleet toward the outer edges of unexplored space. Their ships were sleek and efficient, designed by insect minds that valued function over beauty. Commander H led this particular mission, his compound eyes scanning star charts as they approached a small yellow star with several planets. This system shows signs of industrial activity, reported his navigation specialist, clicking her mandibles in excitement. Metal signatures suggest a technological species, but energy readings are very low, primitive fusion reactors at best. H's wings buzzed with satisfaction. Primitive species were easy to handle. They either joined the galactic community peacefully or were conquered quickly. Either way, they would gain access to new resources and breeding grounds. The survey fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system. Immediately, their sensors detected spacecraft moving toward them. The human ships were crewed by galactic standards, built from metal and ceramic rather than the advanced materials most civilizations used. They moved slowly, powered by simple fusion engines that left bright trails across the darkness of space. "Incoming transmission," announced the communications officer. "They are speaking in electromagnetic waves, very primitive." The message came through, translated by their computer systems. "Unknown vessels, this is Captain Sarah of the United Earth Space Force. You have entered the Sol system, which is under human protection. Please state your intentions and reduce speed for identification procedures." Commander H studied the approaching human ships. They were outnumbered 50-1, and their weapons appeared to be simple kinetic projectiles and crude energy beams. The whole human fleet could probably be destroyed in minutes. Response should be simple, he decided. They clearly do not understand galactic protocols. We shall demonstrate proper respect for superior technology. But something went wrong with the translation. The communication system, designed for insect logic, interpreted the human defensive formation as an aggressive threat display. To insect minds, spreading out and pointing weapons meant preparation for attack, not defensive caution. "They are threatening us," buzzed the tactical officer. "Formation suggests imminent assault." H made a decision that would change galactic history. Disable their vessels. Show them the consequence of threatening the hive clusters. The battle lasted 17 minutes. Human ships, designed for atmospheric flight and short-range patrol, could not match the speed and firepower of dedicated warships. One by one, the human vessels were crippled or destroyed. A few managed to launch escape pods before their ships exploded. Captain's ship, the UES Cerberus, was the last to fall. As boarding parties cut through her hull, she sent a final transmission that puzzled the aliens who intercepted it. "Tell them we tried to warn them. Tell them we really tried. The dogs are coming home now." The surviving humans were taken prisoner. During questioning, they kept asking about something called dogs, with a desperation that confused their captors. The translator struggled with the word, sometimes calling them hunting beasts or pack animals, but the humans seemed to consider them family members. "Where are the dogs?" asked Lieutenant, his face bloody from the interrogation. "Are they safe? Did you hurt them?" Commander H studied the human through the force field of his cell. "Your dogs are animals, yes. You worry about livestock during warfare." "They're not livestock," said, his voice breaking. "They're family. They're everything. If you hurt them, if you even think about hurting them." He trailed off, but his eyes held a promise of violence that made even the hardened commander uncomfortable. Reports of the easy victory reached the Galactic Council within days. Commander H's message was brief and confident. Human resistance eliminated with minimal casualties. Species poses no significant military threat. Technology level approximately 2,000 standard years behind current galactic standards. Recommend immediate colonization of resource-rich system. The council session that followed was filled with excitement. A habitable system with abundant water and minerals, defended by primitives who had already been defeated. It was the kind of opportunity that started bidding wars between civilizations. But as the human of Earth came under long-range observation, strange communications were intercepted. Millions of transmissions flooded outward from the planet, all carrying similar messages that made no sense to alien minds. "Release the hounds," said one message, sent from a military facility to installations around the globe. "Let's slip the dogs of war," came another, this one from what appeared to be a government building. "All units, this is Protocol 7. The pack is threatened. Repeat, the pack is threatened. Begin predator mobilization immediately." Alien intelligence analysts worked for days trying to decode these messages. The references to hounds, dogs, and predators suggested some kind of biological weapons program. Perhaps the humans had trained large animals for warfare, like some primitive species used in the galaxy's outer regions. Probably some form of psychological warfare, concluded the military expert assigned to analyze the transmissions. Primitive species often use fear tactics when facing superior technology. Meanwhile, the human military leadership was making desperate plans. Admiral, the highest-ranking survivor of Earth's Outer System Defense Force, stood before the Emergency Council in the deep bunkers beneath Geneva. Around the table sat the leaders of every major nation, their faces grim with the knowledge of what was coming. "The invasion fleet is massing beyond Jupiter," Admiral reported. "Estimates put their numbers at over 3,000 ships from at least a dozen different species. They'll be here within a week." President Martinez of the Americas Union leaned forward. "What about the Omega Protocol? Is it ready?" "All facilities report full readiness," confirmed Director of the Global Defense Initiative. 10 billion units are prepared for deployment. The enhancement programs have exceeded all expectations. Genetic modifications are stable, cybernetic integration is functional, and loyalty conditioning is unnecessary. "Unnecessary?" asked Prime Minister Singh of the Asian Federation. Director almost smiled. "Loyalty conditioning was never necessary, ma'am. The subjects volunteer. They always have. The dogs want to protect us just as much as we want to protect them. The enhancements just make them better at it." Admiral activated the global communication system. Her image appeared on screens across Earth and in every human colony and space station. Behind her stood a massive German shepherd, its eyes alert and intelligent, wearing the harness of an enhanced military working dog. "Citizens of Earth," she began, "we are about to be invaded by alien forces that consider us primitive and weak. They have destroyed our outer defenses and captured our people. They believe we will surrender because our technology is inferior to theirs." The dog beside her whined softly, sensing the tension in the room. "They are wrong," Admiral continued. "They have made the greatest mistake in their species' history. They have threatened our pack. In 12 hours, we will show them what it means to attack a world protected by humanity's oldest allies. In 12 hours, we release the predators." Her final transmission to the approaching alien fleet was simple. "You have 12 hours to withdraw beyond Neptune's orbit. After that, we release the predators. This is not a threat. This is a countdown." The alien fleet, confident in their overwhelming technological superiority, pressed forward. They had no idea what was waiting for them. Across Earth, something unprecedented began to happen. From military bases hidden deep in mountains, from suburban homes with white picket fences, from professional training facilities in every major city, humanity began the largest mobilization in their species' history. But this was not an army of soldiers marching to war. At Space Force Base in Colorado, Colonel Martinez walked through the preparation bays where hundreds of German shepherds, Belgian and Dutch shepherds waited in perfect formation. These were not ordinary dogs. Years of genetic enhancement had made them larger, stronger, and more intelligent than their ancestors. Cybernetic implants connected their nervous systems to advanced tactical computers. But most importantly, their bond with their human handlers remained exactly what it had always been: pure love and loyalty. "All units report ready for deployment," announced Sergeant Williams as she checked the harness on her partner, a massive black German shepherd named Thor. The dog's enhanced muscles rippled beneath his tactical vest, which contained life support systems for space operations. His eyes, now capable of seeing across multiple spectrums, focused on his handler with absolute devotion. "You ready, boy?" she asked softly, scratching behind his enhanced ears. Thor's tail wagged once, a simple gesture that carried the weight of 40,000 years of partnership between humans and dogs. Similar scenes played out across the globe. In London, border collies bred for tactical intelligence received final mission briefings. In Tokyo, enhanced Akitas prepared for zero-gravity combat operations. In teams of mixed-breed rescue dogs, transformed by science but unchanged in heart, said goodbye to children who had raised them from puppies. The transport ships that emerged from Earth's hidden launch facilities looked unlike anything in human or alien technology. They were organic hybrid vessels, grown as much as built, designed around canine sensory capabilities and pack movement patterns. The ships could carry thousands of enhanced war dogs in specialized deployment pods, along with their human handlers who served as coordinators and emotional anchors. Admiral watched from the command center as the first wave of dog ships cleared Earth's atmosphere. "Phase 1 is launching," she announced. "God help us all, but mostly God help them." On the bridge of the lead vessel, Captain checked her tactical display. Behind her, in the ship's main bay, 3,000 enhanced dogs waited in their deployment pods. Each pod was designed like a den, comfortable and familiar, filled with the scent of their human handlers. The dogs were not afraid. They had trained for this their entire lives. "Ma'am," reported her communications officer, "we're receiving multiple surrender demands from the alien fleet." Looked at her own companion, a golden retriever named Sunshine whose gentle nature hid enhanced capabilities that could tear through starship hulls. "Tell them their surrender demands are rejected. Tell them the dogs are coming." The alien invasion fleet waited in formation near Jupiter, their commanders confident that the approaching human ships were either a desperate last stand or a surrender delegation. The vessels looked strange but harmless, built more like civilian transports than military craft. Admiral Orr of the Oceanus Prime Forces studied the scanner readings. Energy signatures are minimal. These appear to be evacuation ships or cargo haulers. Perhaps they are attempting to flee. Commander H, still proud of his earlier victory, buzzed his wings in amusement. "Let them approach. We will demonstrate proper respect for superior firepower. Target their engines only. We want prisoners, not debris." The first dog transport ship reached the outer edge of the alien fleet. To the alien sensors, it appeared to suffer a catastrophic hull failure as thousands of objects were ejected into space. Emergency containment fields activated automatically, assuming the human ship had been destroyed in some kind of accident. That assumption lasted exactly 47 seconds. The objects that the aliens assumed were debris or bodies suddenly activated personal propulsion systems and began moving with purpose toward the alien ships. Enhanced dogs, protected by environmental suits designed for their unique physiology, streaked through space like guided missiles with teeth. "What are those things?" demanded Admiral, or as his sensors tried to make sense of what they were seeing. "Biological entities," replied his science officer, "but they're moving with mechanical precision, some kind of organic technology we haven't encountered before." The first wave of dogs reached a cruiser. The ship's shields, designed to repel energy weapons and kinetic projectiles, were completely ineffective against biological entities. The dogs passed through the force fields as if they weren't there, their enhanced genetics allowing them to manipulate probability fields in ways that confused alien sensors. Inside the cruiser, Commander L was reviewing tactical displays when his ship's hull integrity alarms began screaming. "Report," he buzzed to his bridge crew. "Unknown contacts have breached the outer hull," came the panicked response. "They're inside the ship somehow. Security teams are responding to multiple intrusions on decks 7 through 15. The security teams that rushed to intercept the intruders found themselves facing something their training had never prepared them for. Enhanced dogs moved through the ship's corridors with tactical precision, but their motivation was something no military academy could teach. They were not fighting for territory or resources. They were protecting their pack, and their pack included every human in the Sol system. A Belgian named Rex, enhanced with cybernetic combat systems and genetic improvements that made him faster than any natural predator, encountered a squad of soldiers in the ship's main corridor. To the insects, he looked like some kind of four-legged alien with bared teeth and glowing eyes. Rex did not hesitate. His human handlers were in danger, threatened by these strange creatures who smelled of metal and aggression. Every instinct bred into him over thousands of generations, every enhancement given to him by human science, every moment of love and training he had received since he was a puppy, focused into a single purpose: protect the pack. The soldiers, experienced warriors who had conquered dozens of worlds, lasted less than 30 seconds. "They're not weapons," Commander L transmitted desperately as his ship was systematically taken apart from the inside. "They're not following military protocols. They fight like we killed their offspring. How do you defeat an enemy that considers death before dishonor to be a basic personality trait?" Across the alien fleet, similar scenes played out on ship after ship. The dogs moved through alien vessels like a plague of fangs and claws, but with the tactical intelligence of enhanced predators and the emotional drive of creatures protecting their beloved families. A bloodhound named Tracker, genetically enhanced for scent detection, could smell fear through alien ship hulls. He led his pack through ventilation systems, guided by the scent of terror that preceded their advance. His nose could distinguish between different alien species, identify command personnel by their stress pheromones, and track targets through the maze-like interiors of ships he had never seen before. On a battleship, crystal beings that had never known physical fear suddenly understood terror, as packs of enhanced dogs appeared in their command center. The dogs had somehow bypassed every security system, every force field, every defensive measure the crystalline species had developed over millions of years. Captain, her crystal form flickering with panic frequencies, tried to understand what was happening. "They phase through our defenses like they don't exist. They coordinate attacks without any visible communication. They fight with joy. Actual joy. What kind of species creates biological weapons that are happy to die for their masters?" The answer came from a human transmission that reached every alien ship simultaneously. It was Admiral's voice, calm and steady. "They're not weapons. They're not our masters or slaves. They're our family, and you threatened our family." A golden retriever named Buddy, his gentle nature intact despite his enhanced capabilities, stood on the bridge of a command ship surrounded by unconscious alien crew members. His tail wagged slowly as he waited for his human handler to arrive via transport pod. He had not killed anyone. Golden retrievers were bred for gentleness. But his enhanced strength had rendered an entire command crew unconscious through precise pressure point application. As the scope of the disaster became clear, Admiral tried to signal a retreat. But his ship's communication arrays had been systematically disabled by a team of border collies who understood technology better than most alien engineers. His final transmission, sent by emergency beacon, reached the Galactic Council just as his ship's life support systems failed. The humans have not just tamed apex predators. They have created a symbiotic relationship that produces loyalty beyond anything in galactic civilization. They fight with love, and love is stronger than any weapon we possess. The alien invasion fleet, 3,000 ships strong, lasted 6 hours against humanity's dogs. Not one alien vessel escaped to tell the tale, but thousands of emergency beacons carried the same message across the galaxy. The humans had unleashed their predators, and the galaxy would never be the same. The emergency beacons from the destroyed invasion fleet reached the Galactic Council chambers within hours. At first, the signals were dismissed as equipment malfunctions or propaganda attempts. A primitive species could not possibly destroy 3,000 advanced warships. The very idea violated everything the galactic civilizations believed about technology and military superiority. But as more beacons arrived, each carrying the same impossible message, the Council was forced to face a terrible reality. Their invasion fleet was gone, Not defeated, not damaged, not retreated. Gone. Completely destroyed by a species that used chemical rockets and metal bullets. Chancellor's crystal form dimmed to almost black as she reviewed the final transmissions. This cannot be accurate. 3,000 ships from 12 different civilizations, eliminated by humans who barely understand quantum mechanics. The oceanic ambassador, her tank bubbling with agitation, spoke through her communication system. The reports are consistent across all species, Chancellor. Every ship reported the same phenomenon, biological entities that phased through defensive barriers and attacked crew members directly. Fleet Admiral of the Void Runners, perhaps the galaxy's most experienced military strategist, stood before a tactical display showing the Sol system. Red marks indicated where each ship had been destroyed. The pattern made no sense according to conventional warfare doctrine. The attack was not random, he observed. These predators targeted command centers first, then disabled communication arrays, then systematically eliminated crew members. This suggests tactical intelligence far beyond what we attributed to trained animals. Commander L, who had survived the initial encounter with humans, clicked his mandibles nervously. The creatures we observed were not just intelligent. They were motivated by something we do not understand. They fought like each human death would cause them personal agony. The council chamber fell into uncomfortable silence. The concept was so alien to their experience that most species struggled to process it. War, to galactic civilizations, was about resources, territory, or political advantage. The idea of creatures fighting purely out of emotional attachment was beyond their understanding. Doctor, the oceanic depth swimmer who served as the galaxy's leading expert on alien psychology, had spent days analyzing the recovered data. Her report shattered every framework her species had developed for understanding consciousness. "Council members," she began, her voice distorted by the water in her tank, "I have reviewed every available piece of information about these human-predator relationships. What we are seeing should be scientifically impossible. The creatures demonstrate tactical intelligence, emotional sophistication, and combat effectiveness that exceeds most sapient species, but they remain technically non-sapient." "How is that possible?" demanded the Chancellor. "Because they are not fighting for themselves," Doctor explained. "Every action, every decision, every tactical choice is made with a single priority: protect the humans. They have somehow evolved or been bred to find genuine joy in serving their human companions. They are not slaves or tools. They are willing partners in a relationship that makes both species stronger." Admiral leaned forward. "What kind of combat effectiveness are we discussing?" Based on the recovered data, a single enhanced human dog team destroyed an average of 47 alien crew members before being neutralized. But here is the truly terrifying part. When one member of the team was injured or killed, the surviving partner's combat effectiveness increased exponentially. Grief made them more dangerous, not less. The implications hit the council like a shockwave. The humans had not just trained animals for war. They had created a relationship so deep that losing a partner triggered berserker-level fury in the survivor. Chancellor reviewed reports from her own species' destroyed ships. "Our forces encountered creatures that passed through energy barriers as if they did not exist. How do we defend against enemies that ignore our most advanced defensive technology?" "We cannot," came a voice from the back of the chamber. Ambassador Or had returned, his ancient face showing no satisfaction at being proven right. "That is what I tried to warn you about. The humans have achieved something that no other species has managed. They have made love itself into a weapon of war." The ancient ambassador stepped forward, his 3,000-year-old eyes focusing on each council member in turn. "You still think like civilized beings. You believe war is about technology and tactics and resources, but humans have spent their entire evolutionary history fighting alongside creatures that know only one rule: protect the pack at any cost. They do not fight to win territory. They fight to protect what they love. And there is no force in the universe more dangerous than love combined with predatory instincts. Reports were flooding in from across the galaxy as news of the fleet's destruction spread. Species that had never known fear began to understand what it meant to face something beyond their comprehension. The Confederacy, known for their advanced weapons research, immediately began reviewing their defensive capabilities. General, their military leader, stood before his staff with growing horror as his tactical computers ran simulations. According to these projections, he announced, our shields would be completely ineffective against biological entities that can manipulate quantum fields. Our weapons are designed to target ships and technology, not individual organic beings moving at high speed through ship corridors. Similar scenes played out across a dozen civilizations. The Mechanic Collective, a species that had replaced most of their biological components with advanced technology, discovered that their perfect logical thinking was useless against enemies motivated by pure emotion. The Void Hunters, who prided themselves on being the galaxy's most efficient killers, realized they had never faced anything that fought with joy. But perhaps the most disturbing reports came from species psychologists and sociologists who began reviewing previous human contacts. Trade negotiations, diplomatic meetings, and cultural exchanges were reanalyzed with growing horror. Doctor of the Moth People, who specialized in relationships, published a report that sent shockwaves through the galactic academic community. We have been making a critical error in our assessment of human civilization. Every human diplomatic mission, every trade vessel, every cultural exchange has included what we assumed were simple pets or companions. We now realize that every human ship likely carries biological weapons of mass destruction that consider protecting humans to be their primary source of happiness. The report included security footage from the Central Trade Station, showing human ambassador walking through the corridors with a large dog beside her. At the time, station security had noted the animal as an unusual but harmless companion. Now they realized they had been in the presence of a creature capable of single-handedly destroying the entire station's security force. The creature shows signs of constant tactical awareness, Doctor noted. It scans for threats, identifies potential escape routes, and maintains protective positioning around its human companion. But most disturbing of all, it appears to be genuinely happy. Its emotional state while performing these military functions is identical to what other species experience during play or recreation. Ambassador submitted his final report to the Galactic Council archives, knowing it would be required reading for any future contact with humans. The humans have achieved something that should be impossible. They have convinced apex predators to love them. Not serve them, not obey them, not fear them, love them. This creates a bond that transcends normal biological relationships. The report continued, when humans speak of their dogs, they do not discuss weapons or tools or resources. They discuss family members. They show images of predators playing with their young, sleeping in their homes, sharing their food. They have somehow convinced creatures designed by evolution to kill that the greatest joy in life comes from protecting humans. Most terrifying of all, or concluded, is that this relationship appears to be genuine on both sides. The predators are not programmed or controlled. They choose to fight for humans out of what can only be described as love, and the humans would risk their own lives to protect their predators. They have weaponized mutual affection, and there is no defense against it. As the full scope of the disaster became clear, panic began to spread through the galactic community. The humans, despite having inferior technology and controlling only a single star system, had become the most feared species in known space. Emergency council sessions were called. Trade routes were rerouted away from human space. Military fleets received new orders: avoid contact with any vessel that might contain humans and their predators. But it was too late. The humans knew the galaxy feared them now. And somewhere in the Sol system, 10 billion dogs wagged their tails and waited for their next opportunity to protect their beloved humans. 3 months after what historians would forever call the Predator War, the Galactic Council chambers looked very different. 17 member species who had participated in the invasion were no longer present. Their seats remained empty as a reminder of what happened when the galaxy underestimated humanity's oldest alliance. The remaining council members sat in nervous silence as they waited for the human delegation to arrive. For the first time in galactic history, a species with primitive technology was being offered full council membership and immediate access to all advanced galactic technologies. The offer came with only one requirement: a promise that humanity would not use their predators aggressively against other member species. Ambassador entered the chamber with calm confidence. Beside her walked General Rex, a German shepherd whose enhanced genetics and cybernetic implants made him larger and more alert than any natural dog. But his most striking feature was the gentle way his tail wagged as he surveyed the room, completely relaxed despite being surrounded by dozens of alien species. The sight of the dog caused immediate tension among the assembled aliens. They had read the reports. They knew this single creature could potentially destroy every security officer in the building. Yet the human ambassador treated him exactly as they had warned, like beloved family. Chancellor of her crystal form dim with nervousness, spoke first. Ambassador, the Council wishes to extend our formal apologies for the recent misunderstanding. We hope that humanity will accept our offer of full membership in the galactic community, along with immediate technology sharing agreements. Ambassador smiled, an expression that somehow made the aliens more nervous rather than less. We accept your offer, Chancellor, but I want to be very clear about something that seems to have confused many council members. She gestured to General Rex, who sat at perfect attention beside her chair. This is not a weapon. This is not a tool. This is not a biological machine designed for warfare. This is General Rex, and he is my friend. He is also the friend of every human who has ever lived. When you threatened Earth, you did not just declare war on humanity. You threatened every member of his pack, and pack loyalty runs deeper than any political alliance you have ever seen. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Ambassador continued, "We want the Council to understand exactly what kind of relationship you are dealing with. Rex here has served in 3 military campaigns, holds the equivalent rank of general in our armed forces, and has saved more human lives than most of our greatest heroes. But when he goes home, he plays with children, sleeps on furniture, and gets excited about walks in the park." To demonstrate her point, Ambassador pulled a small rubber ball from her diplomatic pouch and bounced it once on the chamber floor. General Rex's enhanced eyes tracked the ball's movement with laser precision, and despite his military training and the formal setting, his tail wagged faster. "Good boy," she said softly, and the massive war dog's expression became one of pure joy. The aliens watched this interaction with growing understanding and horror. The creature that could tear through starship hulls was motivated by simple praise from his human companion. Love really had been weaponized. Ambassador spoke for the first time since the delegation's arrival. "May I ask, Ambassador, how many such companions humanity possesses?" "Current estimates put the global dog population at approximately 10 billion, she replied matter-of-factly. "That includes everything from enhanced military working dogs like Rex here to family pets whose only job is to provide companionship to human children. But I want to be very clear about something." She leaned forward, her voice taking on a serious tone that made every alien in the chamber lean back. Every single one of those 10 billion dogs would fight to protect their human family. The suburban family pet sleeping on a child's bed would show the same loyalty as the most elite military unit. That is not a threat, council members. That is simply the nature of the relationship we have built over 40,000 years. The implications were staggering. Humanity had not just demonstrated that they possessed biological weapons of mass destruction. They had shown that their entire civilization was built around creatures that considered protecting humans to be their greatest joy. Over the following months, trade negotiations took on an entirely new character. Galactic businesses discovered that humanity's greatest exports were not raw materials or manufactured goods, but security services. Human-dog teams became the most sought-after peacekeeping forces, bodyguards, and military advisors in the galaxy. The Merchant Guild of, who transported valuable goods across dangerous space lanes, hired human security teams after traditional protection services proved inadequate. Captain Maria Santos and her partner, an enhanced Doberman named Apollo, became legends in the shipping industry. Pirates who had raided the shipping lanes for decades simply vanished when they encountered ships protected by human-dog teams. "It is not just their combat effectiveness," reported Guild Master after reviewing security footage of a pirate encounter. "These creatures fight with a level of motivation that cannot be purchased or programmed. They do not retreat when injured. They do not negotiate when threatened. They fight until their humans are safe or until they die trying. No pirate organization can match that level of dedication." Educational exchanges between humans and other species became some of the most popular programs in galactic history. Young aliens visited Earth to study human-dog relationships, trying to understand how such powerful bonds had developed. Doctor, a young anthropologist, spent 6 months living with a human family in rural Montana. Her reports back to the Science Council revolutionized their understanding of relationships. "I have observed humans and dogs sharing meals, sleeping spaces, and recreational activities," she reported. "The human offspring appear to form bonds with young dogs that last their entire lifetimes. I watched a human child cry when her dog companion was injured during play. The emotional investment is complete and mutual." But perhaps the most surprising development was how quickly alien civilizations began attempting to replicate the human-dog relationship with their own species. The results were universally unsuccessful. The crystalline hegemony attempted to bond with silicon-based life forms from there. The oceanic depth swimmers tried to form partnerships with their planet's predatory fish species. The void hunters sought to ally with the efficient killing machines from their industrial war worlds. Every attempt failed because they approached it as a military or technological problem rather than an emotional one. "They are trying to create the appearance of the human-dog bond without understanding its foundation," observed Dr. Earth's leading expert on psychology. "You cannot manufacture 40,000 years of coevolution. You cannot program love. The relationship between humans and dogs developed because both species benefited emotionally from the partnership, not just practically." As humanity integrated into galactic civilization, their unique relationship with dogs became a source of both fascination and ongoing nervousness. Diplomatic missions always included human-dog teams, partly for practical security reasons, and partly as a subtle reminder of what had happened to those who threatened Earth. Ambassador established the first human embassy on the galactic capital world of Nexus Prime. The embassy grounds included a large park where diplomatic dogs could exercise and play, much to the amazement of alien observers who had never seen apex predators engaging in recreational activities. "The humans have brought their predators to play in our capital city," marveled Governor of Nexus Prime. Children of 20 different species watch through the embassy fence as creatures capable of destroying armies chase flying discs and splash in water features. It is the most surreal sight in galactic civilization. But the true measure of humanity's new position in the galaxy came when they requested a formal meeting with Earth's leaders. Ambassador, or ancient even by the standards of his long-lived species, traveled to Earth for the first time in his 3,000-year life. The meeting took place in Geneva, in the same underground bunkers where humanity had planned their defense against the invasion. But now the atmosphere was one of mutual respect rather than desperate preparation. We have watched many species rise to prominence in the galaxy, or told the assembled human leaders. We have seen civilizations built on technology, on conquest, on trade, on philosophy. But humanity is the first species we have encountered that built their civilization on love. He gestured to the dozens of dogs present in the meeting room, each one belonging to a different human leader. Military working dogs sat beside family pets, all of them alert and protective, but relaxed in the presence of their beloved humans. Your species achieved something that we thought was impossible, he continued. You took creatures designed by evolution to be solitary predators and convinced them that their happiness depends on your welfare. More remarkably, you convinced yourselves that their welfare is equally important to your own happiness. The ancient ambassador's final words would be carved into monuments across human space. You did not conquer the predators of your world. You did not destroy them or avoid them. You made them part of your family, and in doing so, you became the most powerful species in the galaxy. Years later, as human-dog teams served as peacekeepers on dozens of worlds, as puppies born on space stations learned to play in artificial gravity, and as the sight of humans walking with their canine companions became a universal symbol of protection, the galaxy finally understood what they had tried to warn them about. Humanity had not just tamed apex predators. They had created a partnership based on mutual love that was stronger than any weapon, more durable than any alliance, and more powerful than any technology the galaxy had ever developed. And in living rooms across Earth and human colonies throughout the galaxy, billions of dogs wagged their tails and went about their most important job, being humanity's best friends.